live. Oh my gosh.
Finally awake.
Yeah,
Welcome to the. Oh, and here I get a notice. Hey, those goddamn Indie Volt people are live again too. Same time.
At least it was same time today.
I'm telling you, somebody's on that button. I just heard it 3 times. Chirp, chirp, chirp.
I've got a.
So funny.
You could have a bird in the house. Maybe
That's not a bird.
He don't like the signal I'm sending out.
I've had enough experience with low battery smoke detectors to know that sound.
Yeah, I'm gonna. I can't confirm. I visited Randy's house yesterday. I can't confirm. It's not there.
Yep.
Let me send you guys the link.
Just didn't sit in the living room long enough for it to go off. That's what it was. No, my battery's good. My battery's been good for 6 months.
Let me see here. Let me send you guys the link.
Just didn't sit in the living room long enough for it to go off. That's
Hey, we got repeats. All right, awesome.
echo, 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 echo.
Okay.
Where's the?
I'm sending it now. Sending watch links in case you guys want.
Hang on, adjusting my chair again.
Where's?
Well, it's been a particularly interesting morning for me. It's,
Such a beautiful morning.
yeah. It's oh my god. Oh, you didn't miss anything, Trico. I missed half the morning. I was intent to sleep in apparently.
Let him in if he's coming in.
Yeah. Let's
If he's
roll.
if he's got the time.
Let me roll my intro. Yeah. It'll also wake me up because it's very loud. Okay. Christ almighty, that was loud. Okay, so
You replaced the microphone cord this morning?
I haven't done that yet.
No, okay. Well, then don't move.
Okay.
Because you sound good. Am I loud?
Yeah.
Am I too loud? Am I as loud as,
No,
as
you're
Tuesdays?
normal.
I was obnoxiously loud Tuesday. So
You're normal. Don't worry.
right. I moved the microphone back some and lowered the volume on it.
Hello, Dave the Supreme. Trico Luckins. He's working or he would come in. And yeah, guys, happy Thursday morning. One day
Beautiful day in the neighborhood. That was a double chirp right there. It was a chirp, chirp. Maybe Lewis's chair is squeaking.
Lewis, yeah, you know what? My chair, I've pushed to the limits of what it's supposed to be able to hold. You know, chairs come with weight limits, and
That's not a chirp, is it?
Yeah, that's a
squeak.
No, that was a creak.
That's a
Yeah,
squeak.
that's my chair. Okay.
Now you're loud, Lewis.
Okay.
My chair has a cry for help every time I sit down, and it's like
That was a mute.
I am built for was it 250, 275? I think it was 250. It was a nice even number, and yeah, I've probably gone over that. So, greetings everyone. Greetings.
We should introduce ourselves
Yes,
in case somebody's listening that doesn't know who we are.
I am Varian Grant, co-founder of Last Call Comics, as well as founder. That's right. I claim total foundation isn't a word, isn't it? I mean, it is a word, but that's the right word. But anyway, I did it all by myself. No one helped me.
That's not what your wife says. Be nice.
Last Call Comics, she can claim help with. Indie
Oh, okay.
Yeah. She didn't like Indie Volt. I tell the truth. Yeah, founder of Indie Volt, IndieVolt.com, Indie Volt Radio, Indie Volt TV. Yeah, founder of all those great things. Been publishing comics for quite a while. Sick of the whole business. And I'm joined by Randy Zimmerman today.
Hey, everybody. Randy Zimmerman. I do the Zim Geek channel on YouTube. I've been self-publishing comics for decades, to put it nicely, quite a few decades. Arrow Comics, Massive Comics, Weeby Comics, Arrow Comics, that's 3 times. And last 10 years,
Again new?
Huh?
Is it going to reappear new?
No.
Oh, darn.
No plans. No, none. Because last 10 years I've been doing Flint Comics, a free to readers newspaper. I was circulating here in the mid-Michigan area, moved through 10,000 copies per issue. After 100 issues, I decided to stop because I have other things I need to get done. So I have a bucket list and it's begging to be completed. So
And of course,
sure,
And-
it's time to go.
have Lewis. Lewis.
And I am Louis Bright Raven, 26-year veteran of the comic book, role-playing game, and science fiction industries. I've worked with Randy at Arrow Comics. I worked at Caliber. I've done work for Steve Jackson Games, TSR Wizards of the Coast, and other clients as well. I also used to run a studio called Constellation Studios.
You know what I've realized? The older I get, the dirtier the word client sounds.
Yeah, sometimes.
Even though
There's good and there's bad.
oh, that put some light on me. I need to put some light on me. There we go. Oh, now I can be seen.
Now we can
It's
be
so
seen.
dark outside.
Now we can read his shirt.
Yeah. Yeah. Please cancel my subscription to your issues.
Yeah, that's
That's very funny. That's good.
yeah.
I like it. I'm wearing a Planet Stories shirt this morning.
Yeah.
Advertising the Black Amazon of Mars.
Yeah.
Though you can't properly see it. So, there we go. It's off an
Black.
old planet. Yeah, I know, but she's dressed in black. So.
Okay. All right. If she identifies as black, it's okay.
Well, if they had made her an African American, they would have probably at the time sold very little in the southern states, in their opinion.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why Black Panther's mask was totally covered all through the 60s until they decided it didn't matter
Yeah.
when he joined the Avengers. So, and then everybody liked him covered, so they went back and put the piece back in. I looked a little goofy in the Avengers actually. So
Was it uncovered? Yeah.
yeah, with it
I see
uncovered,
that costume. I didn't too much care for the uncovered costume.
the cowl look.
Yeah.
That's the way it was drawn originally on the cover to what was it, FF52, I believe it was.
Yeah.
And they had him fill it in.
Yeah.
Kirby wanted him wanted his skin tone to be seen, and Marvel's just like, no, we're not going to sell any comics in the South if that happens. So they covered it.
What about Mississippi? I don't trust Mississippi. I'm sorry.
After a while, they didn't care about Mississippi. Once he joined the Avengers, he was mixed in with all of the other characters, and he just added to the diversity. So, which was desperately needed. So,
I'm glad individual comic characters don't have agents.
Yeah,
imagine
there
that.
you go.
Someone sitting there. Well, Falcon's skin is up, so you can see Falcon's arms and face. What's going on?
well, they're supposed to have agents called writers, but they don't write the actual character anymore. They put themselves into it. Yeah. I had an agent like that once who had to put his own 2 cents into whatever property he was pushing, and he never got me anywhere. Never. So it made me a little bitter against Hollywood in general because I couldn't be there to actually explain the property. It's like you're an idiot.
That is a good question. Lewis, you've been a talent scout. I know that's a form of an agent.
Mm-hmm.
How important was it to have to identify fairly each person you were representing? Like, was that ever a struggle having to fairly represent someone? I mean, you got this guy who is now like, you may have a guy that you want to represent, and he's he's got a story, and Hollywood just isn't buying it. Is that your fault? Do you take any personal responsibility when a project doesn't get picked up? I mean, I know you didn't ship projects to Hollywood, but
right.
If you were trying to pitch an artist or a project, and someone
that's a different animal for me. I'm not really sure how I would look at it. I don't know. That's a good question. I guess I can relate to it as far as the comics went. A lot of the time I tried to, while I'm representing the property and or the creator, I tried to distance myself, not put myself as part of the package, I guess you could say. a lot of times if I thought there was a problem and it was, I wasn't getting through to a person, I would even put them directly in touch with the creator and see if they could work it out themselves. If because maybe it had something to do with me, I don't know. So you always, so you just but other things is and Randy can attest to this. There was a guy who claimed he wanted to buy all of Randy's backstock for Arrow, and then he just completely failed out of nowhere because and then he told Randy a completely different story about how he wanted to buy all of Arrow properties, which weren't even for sale. So stuff like that happens.
I want to buy all the Arrow property. Well, actually, I don't want to buy it. I want Randy to give me all the Arrow property.
No. This was something ridiculous. I mean,
I'm not going to give them to anybody unless they do something with them and include me with it.
Yeah.
Right. I mean,
I'm very Rob Liefeld when it comes to that.
Yeah. Well, no, this was really bad situation. I mean, this was a guy who really misrepresented himself to me. He was a friend.
Not after that, though.
Not after that, no.
No, and shamefully at the time, I could have really used the money. So if we were going to pick up some of that back stock and distribute it, I was all for it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he just, that guy just, I don't know.
Yeah, that's happened a few times. Not that particular situation, but I've had situations where people have come to me and said, "Hey, you're a publisher. I'm looking for some artists," and if I'm like, "Well, I know an artist here," and if for some reason I put those two together, and the deal goes, then 3 months later, I get a call from both sides. Hey, thanks, man. That guy's an asshole, and I feel responsible in a way, like to both sides, and not you get two versions of the same story. And,
the thing is, people are who they are, and not everybody's going to get along with everybody. So you really can't take. Yeah, you could say, sure, I had some responsibility. Sorry about that, but that's as far as it goes. You can't sit there and go, well, it's your fault, because it's up. They're adults. They have to take responsibility for their own disagreements too.
Yeah. Randy, when I was over. I visited Randy's home yesterday and talked to Zero. But he showed
That's
me.
Why you were sleeping it off, because you were partying.
Oh yeah, there was rum and comics.
Oh yeah, rum and comics. We sat around in the backyard after we got tired of sitting around in the basement.
Yeah, and got a chance to look at his collection. Randy's collection of comics.
My piles.
I thought that I'm going to refer to it now as the stacks.
The stacks, okay.
Yeah.
As the stacks, yeah. I got boxes, kids. How many you want?
It's a large collection of comics.
Like I used to have.
I mean, there's this wall-to-wall comics. I mean,
oh sure, I know what it is. I've been there.
The what you call it? If we need to start paper rationing again, we're going to Randy's house.
I've filled a few recycle bins in my time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I heard?
And I still have, and you didn't even see the garage, so it's all good.
I heard that there's.
And if you'd have driven up, you could have taken a red box home with you.
Yeah, I'm going to.
Yeah.
I heard that there is a in Japan actually, and this shows you the health of their market for the manga. Statistic yesterday, Japan prints more manga than they do toilet tissue.
That's been going on for decades.
Yeah.
So they print more manga. They use more paper for manga than they do for toilet tissue.
Yeah, and it's really cheap newsprint. Also, if you ever see a Shonen Jump, I've got a copy. I'm going to make a video about different formats that nobody's doing. I've got a couple of examples of Shonen Jump up here. It's an amazing product. Man, I really wish that they would put those out here in the States. That somebody would.
I'll be right back.
Bring it back, you mean?
No, do it. Not print Shonen Jump, but do that format.
Oh, okay.
They desperately need to do that format. And, DC, especially with the library that they have, holy crap, they could, if they have any access to it. I don't know how much they've still got on microfiche or whatever files that they have left over, but they could be reprinting until the cows come home and still be making money. And the majority of the stuff, especially if they use it as an educational opportunity to put things in context. There's so many things out there that they desperately need to be seen, like the classic Jack Cole Plastic Man, and they didn't even get to a lot of that stuff in the archive run. Some of that Plastic Man stuff is just solid genius for as long as Cole was on it. And then when Cole got off of it, everybody was just desperately trying to. It's like reading all the Spirit sections. You know, Eisner comes out and establishes a level of quality, and then he ends up going off to war. And even though the people that came in to work on the strip were really high quality people, you never got quite there.
Yeah.
And then when Eisner comes back from the war after having all that, and he had a lot of downtime and was constantly thinking about what to do with that strip when he got back, that strip just explodes in quality and ability. It's just it's an amazing master class if you sit there and read a few of the Spirit archives from like 14 to 20 are just incredible examples of sequential art and graphic storytelling, how he was able to condense stories down to 7 pages.
Yeah,
it's just phenomenal. Something that a lot of writers could really take to heart anymore. You know, everybody working in the mainstream, or anybody working in at any of the comics in general, and entertainment in general.
Yeah, just say entertainment.
I would love to see HBO wants to find content. They should take those Spirit sections and knock them down into 10-minute cartoons.
They all
it's
claim
phenomenal
content, but they all keep producing the same junk.
Yeah,
over and over.
The same kind of junk.
So it's like, yeah. I mean, someone was asking me, well, aren't you into, your comics, and science fiction and fantasy and stuff? Why aren't you into Game of Thrones? Because I'm not. Why aren't you into Doctor Who? Because I'm not. The popular stuff that's, on the thing. I'm just, I'm not saying you're bad or good. It's just, that's not my thing. There's so much other stuff out there that, don't you know about? Yeah. And they're like, what is, I can't remember.
Here's 10 comics you ought to read. Sometime you go out and dig these up and, get off of your current kick.
Yeah, it's not even comics. It's television. It's films. It's everything.
Yeah. Yep.
I mean,
there's still a lot of classic TV out there that holds up real well. You sit and you watch those old Serling Twilight Zones. They're still amazing. Even the reboots. A lot of the reboots that people dismissed when they came out have a lot better quality. Those old, not the old, but the reboot of Outer Limits are real nice, watchable little movies. A lot of times it covers some really deeper than usual subjects on television. Good watching, good stuff.
Yeah, I'm thinking about those shows that went like 1 or 2 seasons that nobody paid attention to, though.
Oh yeah.
I'm thinking Perversion. That's what I was trying to think of. Perversions of Science from '97. Did you remember seeing that?
No, I don't remember the title. Misfits, I remember. Misfits of Science.
Okay, well, Perversions of Science was like a science fiction version of Tales from the Crypt on HBO. It only ran for like 1 year, 97. I think it had like, I don't know how many episodes, but let's see. Find out real quick.
Didn't they, Dave, the Supreme goes, didn't they do a Spirit movie? They've done 2.
10.
There was a made-for-TV movie done way back when that had Sam Jones III in it. And
then the Frank Miller mishap.
Oh, no, the girl who played, I just ran across her name the other day, or yesterday, because she was at a Motor City that I found an old flyer for. The girl that played in DS9 as the lead. She played in Chicago, so she was Ellen Dolan, and then they had
You mean the old Spirit?
The old one, yeah. I've got that on videotape here.
Yeah,
that's actually Kate Masterson.
No, not Kit Masterson. The one who played the female lead, not Chase Masterson. No, I'd recognize the name.
Terry Farrell.
No, you're getting closer though.
Nana Visitor.
Nana, yes.
Okay.
Nana was in it. She played Ellen Dolan, which was pretty faithful to the material. And then you have the incredibly horrible Frank Miller interpretation, which has probably killed the property for the next 30 years, 40 years. The Spirit, as Spirit ever seeing a movie adaptation ever again.
Hold on one second again.
Even though it had an all-star cast and they were hooked on Sin City at the time, it wasn't the Spirit. So.
Well, that's because the Spirit isn't Sin City.
Yeah.
I mean, that was part of the problem. They were trying to make it too close. I don't know. Even
Misfits of Science was amazing. I watched a little bit of that. I wasn't that big of a fan of it.
Yeah.
Reading the chat.
Yeah.
Surprise action. Cool. Thanks. I thought so. Yep. Anyway.
But yeah.
So what's up, Varian? You're on the phone?
Yeah, he's on the phone.
Right.
Yeah.
Doing morning business. When you get up late, you got to catch up to the feed.
Yeah, I'm waiting for the vet to call me back again. Yeah.
I'm just avoiding cleaning my basement some more. That's all. That's why I'm here.
You don't have any commission work right now?
Right? No commercial. Well, I do have commercial work, but I've been putting it off. I need to sit down and do a set of thumbnails for a T-shirt design for an annual shirt that they want in. They want to settle on the design in August because the shirt is actually needed in January. And those are the kind of, that's the kind of client that they're.
Okay.
So I send them 3 thumbnails about this time of year, and they decide on them real quickly. And I sit down and do the art, and
that gets approved by October or something.
It's by committee, so it's a little rough. Yeah, but it's a client that I've dealt with for that I've had for 15 years. I don't want to disparage or give away any solid details. It's just they've been a very good client, very good commercial client. I've done T-shirts and spot illustration work. I've done a few coloring books for them. It's been really good.
For strip club?
Cool.
For the strip club? No? Okay. Sorry.
What?
I thought you said they've been a very good client. I thought it was strip club.
They have. No, that's that. I haven't heard from the strip clubs in quite a while. Of course, that's business that I haven't really chased after either, because I've been trying not to do a lot of apparel print work, and anything that's a large volume, I always subcontract out to a local printer, because I don't want to deal with screen printing unless I have to. So I've done it in the past. There's just better people out there who have better equipment and do good quality work.
And you're just a little
locally here. So, pardon?
You're getting a little too old from the tooth for that anyway, right?
No, I could still pull a squeegee like the best of them.
Trico says, Misfits Designs was amazing. I like the guys. They have super speed and could shoot electricity. And then Dave the Premium said, Randy, do you sell boxes of comics?
Do I sell boxes of comics?
Mm-hmm.
Dave, we can definitely talk. I have boxes of comics. I don't know if you want to buy them, though. Some stuff I've got plenty of copies of Mischievous and Semantic Lace that I'll happily sell you boxes of comics for, but unless you want to use them for an art project, you probably can't make use of it. So yeah, but I've got plenty of Flint comics if you want that. I got them. Just get a hold of me.
Got him for days. He's got
If you're looking for regular comics, I could probably sell you a few boxes of those too. Actually, the wife's got comics that date back to the late 80s, early 90s, and she was quite the reader for quite a while on that stuff. She's pared down a little bit. Took me forever to get her off a Zenoscope. Oh my god!
Why was she into that stuff?
Because she enjoyed the storyline.
Really?
Hey, she enjoyed Vertigo for a long time too. So, I mean, almost everything from Vertigo, by the way. But until this last set, and it was like, whoo.
Yeah. Wow.
Now she's pared down. We used to buy, man. We would buy between the two of us. We're talking $100, $200. No, not $200 weeks, but a good $80 to $100 weeks between the two of us. Huh?
Was it Bordertown that did it?
That was part of it. That was definitely part of it. And I didn't even have to explain who the people were. I mean, who the creative teams were.
Mhm.
She just read it and said, "This book is trash." And I'm like, well, I don't know what to tell you there. So ever since Karen Berger left, their quality just went right, through the two. Down
Well,
the two.
Shelley Bond wasn't too bad when she took over for Karen.
Hmm.
But like you
Jesse
say,
Bird.
once Shelley was gone, that was the end of it.
Jesse Bird says, "Morning, boys, doing well."
We're here.
Yeah, Jesse, I've been.
Be right back.
I'm not gonna lie to you. Jesse.
We're here. I'll be right back.
Yeah, I've been up for about 40 minutes. So
I
All
keep
my
hearing that
systems-
squeak, man. I keep hearing that squeak.
yeah, all my systems are starting to just starting to boot up. And I'm a very slow running computer. I'm running on Windows 82. So
More old school comics, Dave. I can hook you up, Dave. Old school comics.
Yeah.
You saw what I have here, Varian. You know.
Yeah, I was instantly jealous. I thought that I had a decent collection of stuff, but no. Randy's got me beat, and Randy has his back wall of DC Showcase. It's like
Just for industrial, an industrial bookshelf. One side's all showcases, and then another industrial bookshelf that has all the essentials. Yeah. All the EC box reprints. You didn't see all of those. One of them was holding up my monitor here. So I've got Two Fisted Tales under my monitor, and I've got Haunt of Fear holding down my freezer. So then I use the other ones for bookends.
Yeah,
Because they're so steady, and they're these big honking hardback slipcase books. I've got a couple of the Uncle Scrooge books. I have my favorite Uncle Scrooge story in one of those volumes. I love it. So the 24 Karat Moon, great Uncle Scrooge story. I don't even know if they ever did a DuckTales on it, because I never was able to sit down and watch DuckTales out of respect for Barks. So
Arts and Craft Channel.
I kind of wish they would do it, because it was such an awesome story, but it would take them,
Well,
it'd
now
be
that DuckTales is back, they might do it.
even the new return DuckTales. It's like running nails across the chalkboard for me. I sat there and tried to watch it. I'm like, man, look at those characters. Those at least the characters now are really easy to draw.
Yeah.
I mean, if any of the kids at school were watching that show and asking how to draw them, we could sit and draw them, no problem. But quite honestly, I have more requests on how to draw Dogman than I have to draw any of those old Disney characters. You know who Dogman is?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yes.
Yeah. Everybody knows Scholastic's amazing as far as getting products out to people. Everybody knows who Dogman is. That goes to school, and it's all like, let's draw cartoons. Can we draw Dogman? It's like, man, okay, we can take 3 seconds out and draw a Dogman. If you want, not a problem. Let's go. Or I always start with I used to start with what's his face, Patrick from SpongeBob, and then that was fun. But now it's if the kids really get out of line, we'll sit and draw Peppa Pig. So it's like, let's start with a circle. Let's draw this. It looks like a keyhole. Let's draw a couple legs. Let's draw a couple arms. Character's got 3 fingers, and yeah, it's really I haven't done an instructional video on how to draw Peppa Pig yet, because it would take it literally take 3 minutes. But
So
and the character is very easy to draw once you draw her once. It's one of those things that you never forget.
Arts and Craft Channel says, keep hearing buzz of Deadpool joining the MCU. I'm not a Deadpool fan, but what are your thoughts?
That's a good question, Dee Dee. Thanks for asking. That's awesome.
I don't.
When I was growing up, here's an old story. I'm sorry to get off topic. We'll get to Deadpool here in a second. But when I was growing up, I was in a family of 5. I was one kid out of 5 kids. My older brother. My older brothers always got into Thunderbirds, and they sat there and they did the little models and stuff together. And I'd sit with them early in the morning and watch the show. And they'd sit there with the notebook paper, and they'd be sketching schematics out of all of the machines. And they'd sit down with popsicle sticks, and they took over my damn sandbox and turned it into Tracy Island. Okay, that's how rough it was. I'm not lying. But growing up, they got older, and one brother moved away, and I didn't have a lot of communication with him, and the other brother got into cars and mechanic stuff, and was working for a hardware store chain. And when I got to be my junior and senior year, I had more energy than my parents knew what to do with. So they got me a car and they got me a job, and I was driving back and forth to the hardware store, and we were, experiencing real life and all this. Never, ever did I ever think and my love of comics all came out of my escapism from the mundaneness of
The
growing
drudgery
up
of
in a
that.
very small town and a very restrictive religion. Never did I imagine that my brothers and sisters would ever get into genre stuff.
Mhm.
And now my younger sister just asked a Deadpool question. My brother designs and puts together Star Wars droids because he's found so much joy and love from doing that. He's written books, science fiction books, and he's now, really getting into the genre work. And Monica's relatives are now slowly coming out. The younger relatives are coming out. One girl we found out this year who just graduated was a really heavy Marvel fan. It's like, how come you never talk to us? You never come over to the house and talk to comics before. Oh,
Yeah.
I don't like to spread my, that kind of thing around, and didn't think that you want to be bothered with me and all of this. And I did her this great big graduation banner and designed her as a superhero with a couple of her favorite character designed into it. And I showed you that banner.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, it's just so cool to see the power that Marvel and DC are so worried about becoming lifestyle brands that they're so trying to focus on doing it when it's happened already. And a lot of times, and it would just need a very small push to turn that out just to everybody. But it's happened so organically because these stories and these characters and these icons are so deeply embedded and so they're the modern mythology. They really are. I just posted a YouTube video about Stan Lee talking about the power of comics that I found on YouTube today. That is just so amazingly good, and he's just dead on. He's like, people want to downplay comics and classify them as kiddie stuff, or what's the sense of doing comics or reading comics or being in comics? And it's like, well, what's the sense of going to a play? It's the same thing. Do you not want to go see a play because you have pictures and of the words going on at the same time? No, and you just want to read the screenplay. That's not how this works. It's
What's
the
he doing
combination
back there
and the power of it. He's kicking up his Roku channel.
With Robin's telling Batman, "Screw you."
But anyway, Deadpool in the MCU, yeah, that's gonna happen. They're gonna keep him separate for a little bit, and then they might have him walk through. A lot of people want to turn Deadpool into the new Stan Lee for the MCU and have some sort of Deadpool cameo every Marvel movie. I'm not sure if that will happen or not, but I'm surprised they haven't gone through and said that they're gonna keep the Stan Lee cameos going, even though he's passed, because they can do it. They've got enough Stan Lee video to do something with him every movie, some sort of tribute. They should also be doing the same thing with Kirby. I don't know if they'd be able to do that with Ditko because there's so few pictures of him that actually exist. But and so few people know what he looks like. But as far as Deadpool in the MCU, they said that they're going to cross over eventually. And Ryan Reynolds has already said that there's no Deadpool movie until at least 2021 or 2022 because of Marvel's plans for Phase 4 that they've got rolling. But they're going to kick the multiverse open, just like what DC is doing with the multiverse, so that they can get as many versions of their IPs out there as possible.
Gabe says, "Good morning."
Good morning, Gabriel.
Morning, Gabe.
Dave says, "I got a collection of Twilight Zone. I didn't know they had a comic book line." Before you answer that, though, you guys talking about the Spirit. I was going to add that the Spirit is currently on DC Universe. That original 1987 version.
That's because they're desperately grasping at anything to show on that streaming service.
Oh yeah. I still have it. I'm still a member. I still believe. Damn it.
Still believe in what? Is that the original Spirit? Because if it is, that's classy. It's a Sam Jones Spirit.
Yeah.
Well, good on them.
Yeah.
As opposed to the what's his name? It's
Gabriel
not
Macht.
Stephen Gabriel Macht. Yeah.
Yeah. They even
So
got-
I keep telling the wife because we've been big fans of Suits. I'm like, he was the spirit.
You know
No
what's
way,
weird?
no way. Oh yeah.
You know what's weird about
Yeah, it
this
was.
channel is that there's stuff on here you have to search for. They're not doing a very good job in putting the content up there for you.
Well, maybe they put stuff on there that they're not really happy or proud of.
They went doing digitally remastered Shazam, the old TV series.
Yeah.
They digitally
Okay.
remastered it, and it's all up there.
Like I said, they're throwing they want to get all that stuff ready anyway. The DC streaming service is going to dovetail into the Warner streaming service here pretty quick. They just haven't made the announcements yet.
Or
But
AT&T or whatever they're going to do,
AT&T, getting back to that, this is their logic. And this doesn't bode well for DC. But
No.
AT&T Universe
Mhm.
cable service was absolutely phenomenal.
Mhm.
I mean, they carried channels, all sorts of channels there, and everything was nicely organized. And we had the cable service here. We swapped. We had a lady come around and tell us the advantages of getting AT&T as opposed to keeping Comcast, and they convinced us, and we switched over, and we loved that service. The service was amazing. I mean, the cable channels, the satellites, the packages, it was all working really well for us for a couple of years, and then they bought DirecTV, and they decided that everybody who's watching their AT Uverse service had to be on DirecTV. And they wanted to swap everybody over. So in order to do that, they kept jacking up the prices of their cable company. And we had just had fresh fiber optic cable lines spread through the neighborhood. So our Uverse service was impeccable. And I mean, just totally just beautiful. Never went down. Always beautiful. The only time we lost service is we had some idiot with a ladder truck drive down our street with his ladder up and pulled our cord off.
Wow.
And when that happened, we called them. They came out like within a day, and we were restrung and good to go. But we get brand new fiber optic boxes and everything all down the street, and because they were so sure that landlines were going to live forever.
Okay.
And then these lines were durable and could carry a hard signal, and everything went on our TV. Everything was crisp and beautiful. And then they just kept jacking the prices up, jacking up. And we kept having guys coming around talking to us about direct TV. And we're like, dude, no, you're not going to put a satellite dish on my house. I know what satellite TV is like. It's horrible. It's great. It's in my opinion, it's one of the crappiest inventions that they possibly could have come up with. And until they refine it, I don't want to have nothing to do with it.
Well, the original satellite before they did all the Dish TV, Direct TV was a lot better than what they have now.
Yeah, well, their current stuff goes out anytime you get a
It
rain cloud going overhead. You've got lousy signal.
Right, I know, but you remember when they had?
But they were so dedicated to getting everybody on Direct TV. I mean, and there were huge deals. Big deals. Well, come out. We'll install the TV up here in the corner of your house. And all we have to do is aim it at the big satellite. No. Don't do that. Nope. Don't want it. So now we're back at Comcast again.
Yeah. Do you remember when they used to make the satellite dishes that rotated that were like 10 foot wide?
Yeah.
Okay. That's what I started out with back in.
Well, yeah, but you were out in Nevada.
No, this is when I was living in Michigan.
Oh. Well, out in Nevada in the big desert, you had plenty of wide spaces in order to catch a signal.
Yeah. No, in Michigan up by Skoda, we had it. And
Well, you still had wide spaces that you could catch a signal.
no, there's a lot of trees, but still.
No houses. Anyway.
Back then.
And now and back then you had airport, you had military planes flying by that no longer happen up there.
Right.
That
But,
we know of.
Right. Anyway,
It's a secret UFO base, and everybody has known that for years. But
Yeah.
anyway, go ahead.
that's why we had to leave. See, that's why my parents got sick. They got poisoned by the aliens. Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah. Anyway.
Be careful on your tall tales, buddy.
But anyhow.
Randy, we talked about this. You mentioned the DC. The idea is to turn DC into a lifestyle brand
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
It's funny that you mention that because on 8/2/19, so what, a couple days ago,
Yeah. August
Yeah,
2nd.
yeah, DC has also joined. You see those people? That's their DC Daily Show.
Uh-huh. Oh,
Do
yeah. Yeah.
you see what they have on?
DC Daily. What?
Do you see what they have on?
A bat. I see one bad shirt because you can't help but see
It's not
that
a
from a
bad
distance.
shirt. It's a bad apron.
Oh, is it?
It's a
Okay.
bad apron. Because
Whatever.
Oh, no. They're showing you how to cook the Batman way.
Twaddle soup. Twaddle, not turtle. It's live on their.
I'm Adam Gerler, and I'm super excited to be cooking up some turtle soup.
Super excited.
Just like they do down in a
Yep.
bayou.
They're gonna cook it like they do down in the bayou. So this is gonna be Swamp Thing themed, I'm guessing. And
Hey everyone, welcome to DC Day.
Make sure you eat a lot of the greens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
The
yeah,
green. Stay away from the red. Eat the green.
Well,
that's
to get away from DC and get back to Dave the Supreme, he asked about Twilight Zone.
mhm.
I presume that he's talking about the Twilight Zone comics from Now comics in the early '90s, maybe.
No, Dave, if you do enough digging, there's some awesome Twilight Zone comics from Gold Key that came out. There's a lot of digests. I have a couple here in my on my shelf.
Well, how many times has Twilight been a comic? Twilight Zone, the Twilight guy.
There have been at least 3, maybe 4 companies that have printed Twilight Zone, starting with Gold Key Whitman back in the 60s, maybe 70s, 80s. And they did a lot of material. That's how Frank Miller broke in. He's doing a Twilight Zone comic for Gold Key. That was his first work that he won't fess up to or tell anybody exactly what story it was, so that it doesn't jump real high up in value.
Mhm.
But then he says, "Yeah, I started at Gold Key way a long time ago." But after that, I think once Gold Key was done with it, it sat dormant for a few years. Now picked it up for a little while. After Now, it went to where IDW. Is that right? After Now, probably at least one or two other little smaller publishers have done Twilight Zone property adaptions.
Is that right, Lewis? Is that
Depending upon which
anybody
version
new
of
doing it right now?
Twilight Zone you get it.
I thought Trico's comments in chat.
I thought IDW was currently doing or had done it. I don't know if they're currently doing it because
Yeah, the last one I can remember.
IDW's licenses kind of slip in and out. So,
Yeah, the last one I remember was the ones from Now, but that doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, Trico says that we had satellite TV in Mexico. It was all pirated. The dishes were huge, not little ones they have now.
Yeah.
And,
that's those 10-foot dishes that Lewis was talking about.
Yeah,
I liked it because if I missed the show on the channel on the East Coast, I could rotate it over to the West Coast and catch the show 3 hours later.
There you go. Yep.
Yeah, I that you know what's funny is that
when I first got Dish Network, you could still have the East to West Coast translation too, but they stopped that around 97, I think, 97 or 98.
Yeah. And they figured out too many people were doing it, and it was too easy for them to watch stuff.
Yeah, because then you could watch whatever you want. Oh, I want to watch ABC. Okay, I'll watch that at 7, and then I'll watch the other one at 10 o'clock for the CBS show when it's airing in the West Coast. And I don't know why they did that, because it's like it doesn't affect your Nielsen ratings any.
No.
You know, it's like, what was the point? You know, it was just stupid. All they did was hurt themselves in the end.
Yeah. Well,
they got less viewers for their shows.
Same thing with dumping VCRs, you know.
Yeah.
And being able to home record stuff now that we want everything on demand so that we can keep track of what everybody record or what everybody's watching.
Yeah.
I'm sure that's what it is. More control on their end.
But, I like the satellites I had back in the 80s, early 90s, because then you get stuff from Canada, you'd get stuff from the UK, you'd get stuff from Russia.
like a shortwave radio.
Yeah.
Yep.
You didn't have to worry about where your football team was playing, because you could just find it wherever it was on whatever satellite.
Yeah. Yep.
You know. But anyway.
let's see here.
Step it out for a sec.
Yep.
So I was opening up questions.
You have a question.
Yeah, I was opening up questions, and Yeah, I don't have a graphic for it, but that's okay because I know my plan was to wake up earlier today and do some of the graphic stuff,
Well,
but
you didn't plan very well, did you?
no, I was sabotaged actually. The cell phone that I use with an alarm for an alarm was moved and being utilized. So,
I can't hear you, Varian.
oh, so the cell phone that I used was moved and being utilized. So, the alarm, I didn't get an alarm.
Thought I knew where they were, but apparently not.
Okay.
No biggie.
Alrighty. So we're waiting for Randy to get back so you can do the questions.
I'm back. Do the question.
All right, so first question we got here. Okay, where did it go?
I thought I knew exactly where old Twilight Zone digest was to show Dave, but I will find one, and if he's interested in show that, I'm going to do a video here real soon about the different formats. That's going to be part of it.
Okay, so excuse me. Okay, so the question is from Chuck. I think yeah, okay, so he just put Chuck W. Okay. Chuck had a situation where he wanted to break into comics as a writer. He found an artist at a Comic Con who he pitched his story to. He wanted to I guess partner up. And the artist said, "Yeah, man, we'll work on it, basically." And now he says that artist is making the comic on his own. He took the story, he's drawing the book, and he's advertising it as his own product. You know,
Okay.
outside legal ramifications, I guess there's nothing he can really do about it. He wants to know what can he do to get his story back, or make this artist stop. Chuck.
Well, first off, did you give the whole story away, or did you just give him
It
an
seems
idea?
like it from the story that he wrote here. Yeah, it seems like it. He wants some advice on how to move forward, or if he should find another artist and keep doing his story.
All depends on how attached he is to that story.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I
You know?
personally would. And I'm sorry, I
I
don't
mean,
have a
you can
graphic
still
for
tell
it.
with a story. You can make alterations
Mhm.
and do your own version, even if someone takes something from you eventually.
Mhm.
It's not going to be 100% to what you pitch to the guy anyway, even
Yeah.
if you told him the whole story, because he's going to end up trying to put his own spin on it and probably his own different ending. I'm not, without having more information as to the exact bones of the story, I would say either move on or find another artist. If that story is that important to you to be told, then you're going to tell it in your own personal way.
Mhm.
Yeah.
As far as the collaboration goes, you shouldn't tell them a story unless you've got paper that probably includes some sort of non-disclosure agreement between the two of you.
hmm
That and you need to be, if you're going to get an artist in on this to do the visual work for you, you're probably going to need to surrender some of those rights, so the two of you are co-creators. But I really wouldn't get into any heavy ideas until you know somebody incredibly well.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen it.
And unless you contract them as work for hire.
Right.
I've had it happen to me. It shows.
Oh,
We just lost Lewis. The big thing that you want to do is copyright, or at least give some sort of a date to all of your ideas whenever you start pitching around to different people like that. I've got a number of envelopes here. I've got a number of proposals that I've typed up over the years, or notes that I've made copies of and mailed to myself that have a date stamp on them that keep you relatively protected in case that idea comes up again. But also keep in mind, you're always going to run into unscrupulous, underhanded artists or so-called collaborators out there that are going to try to steal your ideas or your credit or whatever. And that you have to, that's part of the sad parasitic nature of this business, is that there's always going to be scummy people out there, and you have to be cautious and guard yourself against that as much as possible. A thick skin is very helpful.
Before I booted myself, that's what I was gonna say, is that I've had people come to me at comic conventions and pitch their whole story to me, like arcs, character arcs. I'm like, wait, no.
Stop.
And you don't want to do this to everybody, because somebody
unless it's fully formed. If you're showing a potential publisher, then you should have visuals set up. You should have your agreement already down
Yeah.
with your collaborative team, or you should be doing it on your own.
Yeah.
And be able to do, be able to do that. You have to keep yourself protected as much as possible.
Yeah.
It's just the nature of the business.
Yeah, you have to be very careful.
So I've had characters and ideas stolen right out from underneath me in the past. So there's nothing really that you can do about it, especially if the other person is more prepared and more indebted or embedded into the business.
And if you really want to get good ideas, the secret is just to get Trico drunk. Get Trico drunk. He'll tell you every idea he has. He uses it for a notepad. You just write it down. And then the next morning, you're like, hey, I got this idea. He's like, I was thinking about something like that. You're like, great minds, bro. Great minds. Anyway, it's mine.
And being a writer, you should have a few books, a few spiral notebooks or a lot of files open in your computer where you have different ideas rolling all the time. Don't just write one thing. Don't get yourself so embedded into an epic storyline that if something like that happens, you're going to be completely heartbroken and tossed out of the industry. We were talking about that yesterday. I had a product that I had printed that that the guy was an incredible writer, just an incredible writer. And we went out and found an incredible artist and put them together. And this was the guy's life blood. And we ran afoul of Diamond because this guy had tried to do all of the art.
Corvus.
No names.
Hmm.
No names on this, Lewis.
Okay.
We don't have to pull up names.
Okay.
Because this guy this guy was so embedded into the story and so had his heart and soul into this work and he had self-published a couple of issues before that. And when we went to solicit the second issue through Diamond counted the books that he had printed before that, and he was selling 500 or 600. And we were getting numbers back on because the new artist coming on was so good. We had numbers coming back that were higher. So there was a definite upswing because the quality of the artwork, I'm telling you, was so there. Varian just saw it yesterday. But
the quality was so good that C.B. Cebulski hired him off that book.
Yeah, but what is he doing?
Not much now, unfortunately.
Yeah. But anyway, I don't think CB hired him.
Yeah, he did.
It was out. He was working long before CB even come into it. Mm-hmm. He was doing stuff for the Marvel online books. But anyway, that's another story. But the thing is here is what happened is Diamond canceled our orders on issue 2 because they counted the numbers on his first 3, saw that when we rebooted the title with a new number 1 and the numbers went up, and Diamond couldn't let that happen because we had a hit on our hands and we knew it. Mm-hmm. And they canceled the book on us. They wouldn't give us the purchase orders on number 2 because they counted the first 3 and they said, well, you've had 4 chances to sell this title. We're not going to give you the purchase orders on the new number 2 because we counted the previous 3. Mm. And that literally threw this writer into a emotional tailspin, and he got out of the business, and it took him years to recover any kind of self-esteem, which is a genuine and true shame.
Yes, it is.
So as a writer, don't get yourself so deeply entrenched into a story that if something like this happens, you're going to be heartbroken and all of a sudden out of the business. You want to have a few stories running at the same time, a few plates spinning in a few different directions, and maybe not even just comics. Maybe you want to start writing short story work, getting that published out there and get more writing experience in different formats.
Yes.
Just in case this kind of thing happens again, you don't just stop writing for 20 years.
Mm-hmm. I totally agree with that.
Let's see here. All right.
But I've been looking that stuff back over because I'm here cleaning out my basement, and a lot of that stuff's like opening fresh wounds. You go and you go, oh, man, if this had happened and that had happened, that book would have been a hit. And we had the team on that book. That was a good product, except for the inker. But that was a whole nother story.
I wonder if does anybody else have that?
I think it was the inker that really bogged us down. In fact, I think he made number 1 late and pissed Diamond off.
is there ever a situation where, because I know it's happened with me, some of the books I published. Yeah, Randy, and you just mentioned it, when you go back and you're looking at titles. Some of these books like time capsules. Like they can take
They're
you
all
back.
time capsules. That's what art is.
Yeah.
You know, doing art like that, you're putting a stake in the ground that you're going to return to, 6 months, a year, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years from now, and look at it again.
Yeah,
It is a time capsule.
I just remember, like, I can remember.
Even these Flint comics, especially, are like little time capsules because of the entertainment articles that are in it
Mhm.
and the ads. It's always
I-
fun to
I
read.
know that I've gone through some of the books that I've published, and I can remember my conversation with the artist, and I can, there's always those good stories, and there's those books from hell. You open it up, and you're like, oh my god, I want to kill this guy. um,
There's all sorts of stories in both directions like that.
yeah, yeah. I know people have done it since then, but I kind of still want to do it with the books, to offer a type of YouTube commentary on the books with the creative team. But I know with some of YouTube's new rules, I probably end up getting a copyright strike against myself for bringing up.
Yeah, especially if they don't want you to be reviewing it.
Yeah, oh no, I'm talking
Yeah,
about,
they'll
I'm
run
talking
a
about-
copy. You have to be monetized first in order to lose your monetization, though.
Yeah, well, I'm talking about on our own books, the Last Call Comics books. To do that, that would be
Copyright strikes?
yeah. Someone will copyright strike my own book.
Oh, they'll try to. You can always protest it.
Yeah, this is
And like I said, it's not like you're being monetized, so you have to fight to get that money back.
yeah, yeah.
It's not like the crap that a lot of these political idiots are pulling on the opinionated channels, where they'll go through and file a protest so that they have to wait 48 to 72 hours to get it removed, and then they've lost all their monetization on particular videos.
Yeah.
That's
You know,
a
they
nasty.
should-
That's
they
a
should-
nasty move. Hopefully, YouTube has caught on to a lot of these idiots pulling stunts like that, trying to cost people income. So
Yeah,
anyway, I see by the clock on the wall we only have a few minutes left
yeah. We
since we started late.
yeah.
Yes, and we probably should talk about what's going on in Indiegogo and Kickstarter.
Yeah. Go ahead, Lewis. Is anything gonna bring to our attention?
Well, I think I sent you a link to the latest Gladstone's related property,
Mm-hmm.
Kid Nefarious. Let's see if I can find it real quick. I got so many different ones here. There it is. Let's see if I can. How do I do this for sharing screen here?
There's a little box at the bottom. It says share
Ah,
screen.
here it is. I see it.
It was a fateful morning where Lewis accidentally shared his bank account information with the world.
It's not letting me.
Johan.
I don't. Yeah, it's not popping up here for me to do it too, because normally you have to. It'll ask me, is it okay to put this up?
Hmm.
Is this the time to mention that Yoda is currently working on a Indiegogo campaign?
Is he? That's right. He's was it the Force?
He's not saying yet, but it's very important. It's coming soon.
Here we go, Lewis. All right.
Did that work? Ah,
Yeah.
there we go. There's only 3 days left to go. They're quite a bit short of their 12,000 goal, unfortunately. We need to
Ooh.
get that going.
Yikes.
How many days left?
3.
3. Oh yeah.
Yeah, we need to get some people checking that out.
Good
It's,
name though. Good name though.
Well, this is a one shot spun off of the Gladstone books that we talked about earlier. It's only one. It's a 32-page comic, and they're going to be doing several of them if they can get the backing on it. I did talk to the artist. He said he might throw in some extra money in there to get them over the hump if they need to get the books out. But I'd like to try and get it where they don't have to do that.
Is this a campaign that you've currently backed?
I tried to back it, but my Kickstarter does not like me. They don't want. They say, use your credit card. I give them my credit card. We don't want to accept your credit card. Well, I can't back you without a credit card. So, Kickstarter's just. I don't know what their problem is. I think their problem is that I have a business credit card instead of a personal account credit card, and they don't want to accept it because my business card isn't my personal name or whatever. It's stupid. I got to fight with them on that. But
Seems very odd.
yes, I don't know what their problem is.
Keep scrolling down. Oh, that's Lewis. Keep scrolling down, Lewis.
Yeah, I'm not.
Let's see how his campaign runs.
My hands are.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing.
$10, $15.
Yeah, $15 is for the actual one-shot comic. $20 you get the book.
Digital file. Yeah,
No. The digital file was 10.
right.
Okay.
The 15 is for the print. 20 is the last thick book and the one-shot of a digital copy. 25 copies, you get 6 copies of the printed version, which is what I was trying to get.
Mhm.
That's what I was mentioning to you, Varian, privately, because I was thinking if we got that, we could give some away on the show.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Let me see here. Yeah, that looks pretty good. I'll check it out. I know you linked me to another one, but that looks pretty good. I like the art.
3 days left to go. Yeah, it looks nice. I like it. I like the colors.
Yeah. Those Mousers behind them, they kind of remind me of the Ninja Turtle Mousers, little creatures that they have.
Yeah.
Ninja Turtles. I like the Kid Nefarious.
It's a good name.
Yeah. Well, like I said, the Kid Nefarious is the team leader of the students that were in that group, and in this one, he's been. I guess he's got a female who's interested in him and has changed his abilities and stuff. So he's got a different costume, as you can kind of see with the white with the red instead of the red and black with the blue scarf. So. Yeah, it's. I'm just interested in seeing how they keep supporting that one, and let's see. I think there was another one too, and I'll see if I can find it real quick.
Let's see here.
On the plus side, not sure if you've seen this or not. Let me see if I can. I don't even think I can share this. That's wonderful.
Let me see here.
Anytime, share your contents on your screen. Choose. Can you see that?
Let me see here. Take
There's a
look.
ping.
Yeah, it made me stop sharing that one.
So it must be trying to come to a Randy's. Sorry, guys, we got software here that because Google decided to stop using Hangouts, allowing us to use Hangouts.
And I got another one here that I'm tried to share here. I don't know if you're.
I don't think it's sharing.
Let's see.
Are we back?
Funded.
Yep,
Stellar
this one's already been
Odyssey number
funded, but it's got less than. It's got a day to go. It just got over its goal at 2,253.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to remember now. Another one that I tried to do it with, and unfortunately they wouldn't let me. I do not like Kickstarter for this reason, but anyway.
What's that book called?
I don't know. I haven't tried to fund
Odyssey.
anything on Indiegogo. I'm going to have to wait and see if Indiegogo does the same thing to me. But this
Stellar
one,
Odyssey #1.
yeah. Best thing to do, well, you guys can't. I really can't share it with you as far as the video, but I guess I could play the video, but you aren't going to hear it, are you?
Okay.
Yeah, we can hear it.
I don't know if there's a. It's got like 3 different stories at the same time in the book, supposedly.
Mhm. Not impending doom.
impending doom.
Yeah, not impending doom.
Always impending. The doom has to always be impending.
Yeah.
That's just the way doom works.
Yeah.
Yes. So, and you see they've got a few stretch goals, but again, their comic is 10 for a printed comic, or $3 for the digital version. Comes out in October.
$3 for the digital version.
Yep, and 10 for the printed.
Okay.
And that includes the printed and the digital copy are 10, and the name on your thank you list. You get a pinup. I don't know. I guess you get to pick one of 4 different ones. I don't know. They haven't actually shown the pinups as far as I know. For 15. A customized one-of-a-kind sketch card for 25. You get all 4 pinups for 30. So,
Okay.
but
that's pretty good.
yeah, it's interesting to me because I mean, I'm into the science fiction stuff, and it's like, oh, we got thieves, smugglers with bounty hunters. Yep, that's what I do. So.
Since it's after 11 o'clock, we're going to have to sign off. I got to get the wife to work and get working myself. I'm running to the market today to secure a few details for the fall show coming up on the 14th of September.
Alrighty.
Okay, then.
Before we go, I want to try this, see if this works. Does this
Let me
kick
go ahead.
over?
I'll stop sharing mine.
Does that kick over?
It does.
It does. Jawbreakers, God King graphic novel just broke 200,000 last night.
I just need 10% of it.
In fact, they shut this down, didn't they?
203. No. How did they shut this down, Lewis? It's on demand now. It's still available for sale. The main campaign has stopped. It stopped at midnight actually 3 a.m. last night.
That's what I meant. I guess
they broke 200,000.
Yeah. Okay. Well, all I remember seeing was it was mentioned on Ethan's
Stream. Yeah.
that they had shut it down, meaning they had stopped the campaign themselves.
100-page graphic novel, $25, $5 shipping.
Yeah.
That's a Kyle Ritter cover.
Yeah.
There with artwork by a number of different people, including Kyle.
Mm-hmm.
This book is like 95% done and will be out by the end of next month.
Mm-hmm.
So that he can start his next campaign. Wow.
200,000?
I almost didn't show that there for a second. Those circles were a little bit, I wasn't sure she was properly covered. Lots of stuff happening. This is the third actual product that Myers has had out. Iron Sights #2 is the next one that he's going to be doing.
Okay.
He's got 17 Jawbreakers graphic novels already in the planning stages. So
It's 201,000. Oh man.
are we back? We are back.
Yeah,
Say what?
201,000.
201, and believe it or not, he boosted being on Ethan's stream. He boosted quite a bit last night because he was.
Yeah, he did. He's good.
He just wanted to be the 5th largest graphic novel according to the figures out in July, and now he's the 3rd.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Over 5,000 copies. Of the book. I gotta say it. The miracles of marketing.
Yeah.
Yep.
On that, and the fact that this product, I've got the first Jawbreakers book, and we've discussed what I thought the writing problems were on that variant, but he's Ethan, not Ethan, but Richard. It's come a long way and figured out what he's doing, and he's doing better, and he's getting ahead, and he's probably 3 or 4 products in production as we speak, and it's just going to keep rolling. As what is that? Splatto Comics.
Yeah. It's very interesting what those guys are doing. The $201,000 is nothing to sneeze at. Even
You can't argue those numbers, and that's all figures. And those mainstream companies have to be a wee bit worried because that's all money that's going right into a separate company. It's not money that's coming out of the current system, because most of these guys that are buying this book are all people that stopped reading comics a long time ago. Most of these guys that are investing in Jawbreakers don't go into comic shops anymore because they've been chased off for one reason or another.
Yeah.
Maybe exactly like how Lewis was done. The retailer decided that they weren't going to get product that they actually wanted to spend money on.
Mhm.
So, it's the market is expanding, even though the direct market is contracting.
Yeah.
It's just going to continue, and hopefully with more products like this, more products like Stellar Odyssey and Kid Nefarious are going to get notice, and it's going to be more recognition, more money into the system, and more great sequential art out there.
Well, Kid Nefarious and Gladstones was originally an Image, and they didn't support an Image at the retailer level, so that's why they're out there on Indiegogo.
Just like DC wouldn't support, Ethan's work, and Russell got
I'm talking about
torturous interference between his deal and Antarctic. If they won't support it, they'll find a way. Comics, good art finds a way, and more power to the Gladstone people for doing that. I hope they're very successful.
All right, guys, that does it for us here today. I will see you all very shortly.
11:06. You've got a broadcast tomorrow with your last call people, right?
I might push it back to Friday. I might push it back to tomorrow. I didn't do it last night, but I might do it tomorrow. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, and then I got my personal channel, which
But you just get on and rant for hours on your own, huh? And hope people listen. Is that what it is?
The problem with the world is you crack one of these after 2 o'clock and you just start talking. You just keep drinking these and you wake up in the morning. So I said what?
That'll help your YouTube algorithm.
Yes.
Yeah.
Marty, there you go.
Speaking of going, Kitty wants to
I'd suggest we all do that, but man, we can't can't afford the copyright strikes.
No. What do you say, Lucy? Your cat? How's your cat doing? The cat update.
Well, basically, he finally went number 1, but not number 2 this morning. So I'm still waiting to hear from the vet, and I guess I have to go give him his medicine now. It's about that time.
Okay.
So
We're in at the right time then. All right, thank you everybody for watching. I appreciate it. We will see you guys Tuesday at 9 o'clock. PM.
Hey, you should mention Indie Volt Radio before we leave. You can always mention the Zim Geek channel on YouTube before you go. And Lewis, I know you're working on trying to start a channel here pretty soon, huh?
Yeah, hopefully.
Okay.
If not that, I'll be working with Varian on covering some other stuff here at Indie Volt. We'll see what's going on with that later.
But we have so we'll see you guys Tuesday. You can find us at our respective personal places of social media. I will talk to you guys later.
Take care, everybody. Have a great weekend.
You too.
Well,